Hey guys, welcome to question FM395 of the Further Maths Fortify study guide. This question reads, a company makes and sells candles over social media. The cost in dollars of manufacturing a certain number of candles can be found using the equation cost equals 315 plus 1.7 times the number of candles. Question A wants to know how many candles will be manufactured if the cost is $479.90. So to figure out this question, we simply put this into our formula above here, plus 315 plus 1.7, let's say times x, or 1.7x. Now if we whack this into the solve function in our calculator, we can figure this out quite quickly. So we just plug this all in. 315 plus 1.7x, and we're going to tell the solve function to solve for x. Plugging that all in, we should get an answer of x equals 97. Therefore, our answer should be 97 candles. Part B then says, on the grid below, sketch the graph of the relationship between the manufacturing cost and the number of candles manufactured. The company will break, that's the next bit. Now we've got to plot on our little graph here what we're going to do. So we're going to find 2 points to plot this line. Now the first point we're going to find is actually going to be the Y-intercept. This is pretty easy to find because when we find the Y-intercept, we simply make x 0, x in this case being the number of candles. So if we look at what our cost would equal if we had 315 plus 1.7 times 0, well, that would be 0. That would be 315. So our first point here is going to be 0, 315. Now, I usually pick the leftmost x value and the rightmost x value, just so that you have a line that is going to be the most accurate it can be, given that you'll be drawing it by hand. So picking 2 points very far away from one another, in fact as far as you can, is usually the best way to go, because if you make a slight mistake really close, then your line is going to be very out by the time you're right at the edges. So the other point I'm going to pick is to substitute 120 for the number of candles. So in this scenario, we've got the cost is equal to 315 plus 1.7 times 120 candles. Now, when we plug this into our calculators, we should get an answer of 519, meaning that our coordinate here is 120, 519. So we've got 1 point at 0, 315, and 1 point at 120, 519, and we simply draw our line between those 2 points to end up with a line showing the relationship between the manufacturing cost and the number of candles manufactured. We then get a little bit more information before moving on to part C, which says the company will break even on the sale of candles when it manufactures and sells 25 candles. Find the selling price of 1 candle. Alrighty. So the cost of 25 candles, 315 plus 1.7 times 25. That cost is going to be equal to $357.5. Now our revenue is going to be equal to the number of candles, which I'm just going to leave as no here, the number of candles, times whatever the selling price is, which of course is what we're trying to find here. So our revenue at this stage, when we get to this point, we know is actually going to be equal to 357.5, because that's our break-even point. The number of candles is going to be 25, because that's how many candles we've made once we've reached a cost of 357.5, which means if we leave this as S, we now have a formula that we can solve for S. So if we solve 357.5 when it's equal to 25S, or 25 times the selling price, we tell it to solve for S, we should get a value for S of 14.3, meaning that our selling price is $14.30. If you guys have any questions about any of these three questions, please leave them in the comment section below. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.